Imagine holding a small piece of history in the palm of your hand, a coin so common in everyday life, yet hiding secrets that can surprise even the most seasoned collectors. One such coin is the 1961 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. At first glance, it may look just like any other penny in your pocket, but hidden in plain sight is a story that could spark curiosity, ignite passion, and even carry real value for those who know what to look for. Today, we're diving deep into this fascinating coin, exploring its history, unique features, and why collectors continue to treasure it decades after it first entered circulation. The 1961 D Lincoln penny, struck at the Denver Mint, is part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series, which has been a staple of American coinage since 1909. Abraham Lincoln, one of the nation's most iconic presidents, graces the obverse of the coin, his profile instantly recognizable. The reverse features the familiar wheat ears, a design used on pennies from 1909 until 1958, but by 1961, the reverse had transitioned to the Lincoln Memorial, marking a modern chapter in the penny's history. This small change reflected a nation evolving while still paying tribute to its heritage. The year 1961 itself was an interesting time in America. The country was entering a period of transformation. John F. Kennedy had just been inaugurated. The space race was in full swing, and everyday Americans were still carrying change that had been made with care in mints across the country. The 1961 D penny was minted at the Denver Mint, which often produced coins in high volumes, making them widely circulated. But even a coin produced in large numbers can have unique aspects that make it special. What makes the 1961 D penny particularly intriguing is not just its place in history, but the details of its design and production. Like all pennies of this era, it was composed primarily of copper, specifically a 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy. This gives the coin its familiar reddish-brown hue, though over decades in circulation, many pennies develop a rich patina that collectors find appealing. The obverse shows Lincoln's profile with crisp lettering around the edge. "In God we trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the date with the D Mint marked to the right. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, complete with fine detailing of its columns and the inscription "E pluribus unum" along the top. For coin enthusiasts, even small details can be significant. The 1961 D penny is known for a few notable die variations and potential errors. Some coins from this year exhibit slight doubling of letters or numbers, a phenomenon collectors call a double die. Others may have minor imperfections caused during the minting process, like off-center strikes or weak impressions. While not all errors are highly valuable, they add a layer of curiosity, making each coin a little different from the next. But beyond these production quirks, what truly makes the 1961 D Lincoln penny rare or valuable? In general, most pennies from the early 1960s are common, but condition is everything. Coins that have been well preserved, with sharp details and minimal wear, can command a surprising premium. Collectors often seek pennies in uncirculated condition, meaning the coin shows no signs of everyday use. A 1961 D penny in pristine condition can stand out among more worn examples, and if it has a notable error, its value can rise even further. To put this into perspective, real auction records show that standard circulated 1961 D pennies typically sell for a modest amount, often just a few dollars. However, an uncirculated coin, or one with a significant minting error, can fetch tens or even hundreds of dollars. For instance, certain double die examples from this era have been sold online and at collector shows for well over $100, especially when certified by professional grading services. While these coins may not reach the astronomical prices of rare 1909 pennies, they remain highly desirable for collectors looking to complete a Lincoln Cent collection or find a hidden gem among common coins. Identifying a real 1961D penny is straightforward once you know what to look for, but attention to detail is key. First, check the mint mark. The small D on the obverse just under the date indicates it was made in Denver. Look closely at the lettering and the date. They should be crisp and uniform. For uncirculated coins, the copper color should be bright with minimal discoloration or scratches. If you suspect a double die or other error, magnification is useful to spot subtle doubling of letters or numbers. Avoid coins that appear suspiciously shiny or artificially cleaned, as these can reduce value. Trusting reputable grading or authentication services can also provide peace of mind when buying or selling. Even beyond its numismatic value, the 1961D penny has surprising and fun details that can make it interesting to casual enthusiasts. For example, some coins in circulation from this year developed a beautiful toning over decades, turning shades of gold, brown, and even deep red. Each coin tells a story of the hands it passed through, the pockets it traveled in, and the decades of American history it silently witnessed. Some collectors enjoy researching where the coin came from, imagining it being spent in diners, grocery stores, or saved in jars. Each transaction a tiny slice of everyday life frozen in copper. Collectors love the 1961D Lincoln penny, not just for its potential monetary value, but for its connection to history and the thrill of discovery. Completing a Lincoln cent collection often requires finding examples from every mint mark and year, and the 1961D is a necessary piece in that puzzle. Its moderate rarity, the potential for errors, and the beauty of well-preserved coins make it a favorite among beginners and veteran collectors alike. There's a certain satisfaction in holding a coin that has survived decades with minimal wear, knowing it carries both historical and aesthetic significance. And here's a little curiosity to leave you thinking. While millions of 1961D pennies were minted, very few in truly pristine, error-free condition exist today. The coin in your pocket, a drawer, or a jar could be closer to something valuable than you realize. A careful eye, a bit of knowledge, and some luck could turn an everyday penny into a collectible treasure. So next time you come across a copper coin with a small D under the date, pause for a moment. Think about the year it was made, the mint where it was struck, and the history it has quietly traveled through. The 1961D Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It's a tangible piece of American heritage, waiting to reveal its story to anyone curious enough to look. Who knows? Among the ordinary change in your pocket might be a coin that connects you to history and maybe even surprises you with hidden value. Keep searching, keep observing, and let these small pieces of metal continue to tell the big stories of America's past. The story of the 1961D penny is a reminder that sometimes treasures are hidden in the most familiar places, and history can be held in the palm of your hand. One small penny, minted over 60 years ago, still sparks curiosity, captures imagination, and invites discovery. The question is, will you be the one to uncover its secrets? Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks ordinary at first glance, yet it could hide a secret worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. A small piece of copper, easy to overlook in your pocket or coin jar, but to the right collector, it tells a story of history, design, and rarity that few pennies ever do. Today, we're uncovering the mysterious 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin that has quietly captured the attention of collectors and enthusiasts across the United States. What makes this coin so special, and why might your spare change hold a hidden treasure? Let's dive in and find out. The 1967 Lincoln penny, officially a 1-cent coin, is part of the long-running series honoring Abraham Lincoln, first introduced in 1909 to mark the centennial of his birth. The coin features Lincoln's profile on the obverse, a design created by Victor David Brenner, and a simple but iconic wheat stalk reverse, which was still in use at the time. The coin itself seems unassuming, Just a penny made mostly of copper, part of everyday American life. But not all 1967 pennies were created equal. Some bear a small mint mark indicating where they were struck, usually a D for Denver or S for San Francisco. Others, like the one we're talking about today, carry no mint mark at all, and that absence is the first hint that this coin may have something unusual about it. The story of the 1967 penny begins during a fascinating period in U.S. coin history. The late 1960s were a time of change for the country, and for the U.S. Mint, there were practical challenges. Rising copper prices were making it expensive to produce coins, and demand for coins was high due to economic growth and increased circulation. The mint produced billions of pennies in 1967, but the lack of a mint mark on some coins has led to decades of debate and intrigue. Some coins were struck with no mark due to technical reasons at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not always place a P mint mark on coins until later years. This minor detail, however, turned what was meant to be routine coinage into a potential collector's item. The design of the 1967 penny is classic Lincoln. The obverse shows Lincoln's calm and thoughtful profile, a design that had already been in use for nearly 6 decades. The reverse features 2 stalks of wheat framing the words, 1 cent, and United States of America. The metal composition of the coin is 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it the familiar reddish-brown tone that coin enthusiasts recognize. While there were no widespread design errors reported for the 1967 penny, subtle variations in strike quality, die wear, and minting anomalies can make individual coins more valuable. For example, coins with doubled dies or minor surface imperfections can be sought after by specialized collectors. So why is the 1967 penny with no mint mark considered rare or valuable? The answer lies in scarcity and condition. While millions of pennies were produced in 1967, only a small percentage of them are in excellent, uncirculated condition today, and even fewer carry the specific traits that collectors prize. A coin with a crisp strike, full detail, and no wear can stand out significantly among ordinary circulated pennies. The lack of a mint mark adds another layer of curiosity, as collectors often focus on differences between mints and look for unusual production traits. In some cases, these pennies are mistaken for coins from other years or mints, which adds to the challenge of identification and increases their allure. Real-world examples help illustrate the potential value of this coin. In recent years, high-grade 1967 pennies with no mint mark have sold in collector auctions for hundreds of dollars, sometimes more, depending on condition and rarity factors. A coin in near-perfect uncirculated condition, free from scratches or discoloration, can attract serious bidding, particularly when verified by a trusted grading service. For collectors, the thrill isn't just in the money, it's in the hunt, the story, and the connection to a tangible piece of history that's survived over 50 years of circulation. Identifying a real 1967 penny with no mint mark is surprisingly straightforward if you know what to look for. First, check the obverse of the coin near Lincoln's shoulder and under the date. A true Philadelphia strike will have no letter marking the mint. Second, inspect the date itself and the clarity of the details on Lincoln's profile and the wheat stalks on the reverse. Counterfeit or altered coins may show uneven surfaces, inconsistent coloring, or tooling marks. Third, pay attention to weight and size. The authentic penny should weigh just over 3 grams and measure 19 millimeters in diameter. When in doubt, having a coin examined by a professional grader or numismatic expert is always the safest approach, especially for higher value pieces. Beyond the monetary value, there are fun and surprising details that make the 1967 penny a fascinating collectible. For instance, despite being part of a common series, the 1967 penny represents a snapshot of America during a time of cultural and economic change. Every scratch, patina, or unique variation tells a small story about how the coin traveled through pockets, cash registers, and coin jars. Some collectors even enjoy tracking the subtle differences between coins from different mints and years, creating a rich tapestry of historical connections. The coin also serves as a reminder of Lincoln's enduring legacy, appearing on the cent for more than a century and connecting generations of Americans through everyday transactions. Collectors today love the 1967 penny for these reasons. It's accessible yet challenging to find in pristine condition, making it both a beginner-friendly coin and a sophisticated collectible for seasoned enthusiasts. It embodies the thrill of discovery, the joy of history, and the satisfaction of owning something tangible from the past. Numismatists appreciate the subtle nuances in design, metal composition, and minting process, while casual collectors are drawn to the potential value and the story behind each piece. Owning a 1967 penny with no mint mark is like holding a quiet secret of American history in the palm of your hand, a reminder that even the smallest objects can carry remarkable significance. As we wrap up, consider this. The next time you open a jar of coins or find a loose penny on the street, it might not just be a simple 1-cent piece. Among the ordinary change, there could be a coin that carries history, mystery, and real collector value. The 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark may look like every other penny, but to those who understand its story, it represents a small, copper window into the past, a piece of history that could still surprise and delight anyone who takes the time to look closely. So before you spend or discard your pennies, take a moment to examine them. One of these humble coins might just hold more than you ever imagined, waiting quietly for the right eye to recognize its true worth. In the end, the 1967 penny with no mint mark is more than currency. It's a story frozen in metal, a testament to design, history, and the curious ways that everyday objects can become treasures. Whether you're a seasoned collector, a casual enthusiast, or just someone curious about hidden history, this coin reminds us that sometimes the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. And who knows, your next penny might just be the one that captures history, attention, and perhaps even your imagination. This coin's journey is far from over, and the story of the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny continues to unfold as collectors hunt, trade, and admire these small, yet extraordinary pieces of history. It's a simple coin with a quiet allure, a reminder that even something as familiar as a penny can hide a world of intrigue and value. Keep your eyes open, because the next time you glance at a shiny penny, it might be whispering a secret worth discovering. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that almost everyone has seen, yet only a few truly understand its hidden story. A coin so ordinary it could be in your pocket right now, yet so rare that collectors would pay thousands to own it. Today, we're diving into one of the most intriguing pieces of American history hidden in plain sight, the 1972 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. At first glance, it looks just like any other penny, but the story behind it is anything but ordinary. The 1972 Lincoln penny was part of the long-running series honoring Abraham Lincoln, a tradition that began in 1909 to celebrate the centennial of his birth. These pennies have been in continuous production for over a century, which means most of us have handled them countless times. The 1972 edition, however, stands out because of something unusual. Some coins from that year were struck without the small letter that usually indicates which U.S. mint produced them. This tiny omission creates a subtle mystery for collectors, and it is exactly what makes this coin so fascinating. To understand the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny, we need to go back to the early 1970s. The United States was producing billions of coins each year, a task that demanded precision and consistency. The Lincoln penny in circulation during 1972 featured the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the front, a design that had been updated slightly over the decades but remained instantly recognizable. On the back, the coin displayed the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of the nation's respect for one of its most admired presidents. Most pennies were produced at either the Philadelphia Mint or the Denver Mint. Coins struck in Philadelphia traditionally had no mint mark, while those from Denver carried a small D. That's where the curiosity begins. While some Philadelphia pennies were intended to have no mark, collectors have found versions that seem to be anomalies, pennies with subtle differences in striking, weight, or composition. These small variations create opportunities for discovery. And for the 1972 penny, certain coins were accidentally struck with extra care or minor errors that now define their rarity. The 1972 penny was made primarily of copper, which had been the standard for Lincoln cents for most of the 20th century. The precise copper content gave the coin a distinct weight and color, one that many collectors use to help identify authentic coins. Its design remained classic. Lincoln facing right on the obverse, the date clearly stamped to his right, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse with intricate details that are surprisingly hard to replicate perfectly. It is these small details that separate a common penny from a collector's treasure. But why is the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny valuable? The answer lies in scarcity and condition. Unlike mass-produced coins, which are common and easy to find, certain 1972 pennies are rare because they were either struck as experimental errors, missed routine inspections, or were preserved in exceptionally high condition for decades. Collectors prize these coins because even a minor imperfection or anomaly can drastically increase their value. In some cases, pennies that look almost identical to a common coin can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on their quality and provenance. There are real-world examples that illustrate this point. A 1972 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition with no mint mark can fetch well over $100 at auction. Some coins that show rare die errors, such as double dates or off-center strikes, have been recorded selling for several $100s. These sales may seem surprising to anyone who thinks of pennies as everyday change, but in the world of coin collecting, small differences can translate into significant monetary value. It's a market built on precision, history, and the thrill of discovery. Identifying a real 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny requires careful observation. Authentic coins will have certain characteristics: the correct copper color, sharp detail in Lincoln's profile and the Lincoln Memorial, and a consistent weight that matches the official specifications. Counterfeit or altered coins may have irregular surfaces, unusual coloring, or inconsistent size. Some collectors even use magnification to inspect the coin's surface for die marks or anomalies that confirm its authenticity. It's a meticulous process, but it's what makes finding a genuine rare penny so rewarding. Beyond its value, the 1972 penny carries surprising details that make it interesting to even casual observers. For example, some of these coins show what are known as double dies, where the image on the coin appears slightly doubled due to a rare misalignment during the minting process. Others may have subtle shifts in the metal that create tiny color variations. These quirks tell a story about the coin-making process in the 1970s and give each coin a unique identity, even among thousands minted in the same year. Collectors today love the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny not just for its potential value, but also for the sense of history it embodies. Holding one of these pennies is like holding a small piece of American heritage, a reminder of the economy, technology, and artistry of the era. For many, the hunt for these coins is as thrilling as the discovery itself, a treasure hunt in everyday change. Even finding a coin that appears ordinary can be exciting, because you never know when you might have stumbled upon something exceptional. What makes the 1972 Lincoln penny truly special is the way it bridges the past and the present. On the surface, it's a simple coin, yet its story connects us to decades of history, craftsmanship, and the small accidents that create rarity. Every scratch, every subtle difference, and every missing mint mark is a clue waiting to be uncovered. The next time you empty your pocket change, you might find a coin that could hold the same potential, an ordinary object hiding extraordinary value. So the next time you glance at a penny, consider this. Among the millions of coins in circulation, a single 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny could be quietly waiting, its story untold, its value unnoticed, until someone recognizes the treasure in their hand. Could the coin in your pocket be more than just a penny? Perhaps it's a tiny key to a larger story, a piece of history waiting for discovery, and a reminder that even the smallest things can hold great significance. History is full of surprises, and sometimes those surprises are found in the most ordinary places. The 1972 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is a perfect example, a coin that reminds us that even the familiar can become extraordinary when we look closely enough. Keep an eye on your change, because the next great discovery could be right under your fingertips, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. Imagine holding a single penny in your hand and realizing it could be worth thousands of dollars. Not just any penny, but a coin so rare that collectors search for it obsessively, and history whispers its story through every tiny detail. Today, we're uncovering one of America's most intriguing numismatic mysteries, the 1973 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. At first glance, it might look like a coin you could find in your pocket or at the bottom of a drawer, but this unassuming penny carries a story that collectors dream about. Unlike the everyday Lincoln cents minted in the early 1970s, this coin is unique, partly because of where it was, or made. Normally, pennies produced in Denver bear a small D mint mark, and those from Philadelphia typically had no mark or a P. But the 1973 no mint mark penny is rare in a way that has puzzled collectors and intrigued coin enthusiasts for decades. The Lincoln penny itself has a long and proud history. First introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, it replaced the Indian head cent. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent was the first widely circulated U.S. coin to feature a real person on the obverse, or front side, rather than symbolic imagery. By 1973, the design was deeply familiar. Lincoln's bust on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and a coin that had become an everyday part of American life. But not every penny was ordinary. The 1973 no mint mark penny emerged during a time when the United States was experimenting with coin production to meet demand and control costs. That year, most pennies were produced in Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia coins usually had no mint mark, while Denver coins carried the D. The rarity of this specific 1973 no mint mark coin comes from its limited numbers and the unusual circumstances surrounding its production. Something about the minting process that year caused very few of these coins to enter circulation, and that scarcity is exactly what collectors look for. One of the most fascinating aspects of this penny is its composition. By 1973, pennies were still made primarily of copper, specifically a blend of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This gave the coins a warm, reddish hue that is immediately recognizable. The design itself is classic Lincoln, the profile of the 16th president facing right, the word liberty to the left, and the date 1973 to the right. On the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial stretches across the coin, a design that would remain until 2008. But it is the subtle differences, the tiny anomalies that may be invisible at first glance, that set the 1973 no mint mark penny apart. The rarity of this coin is not due to a dramatic error or obvious mistake. There are no double dies, no major striking flaws, just a combination of low mintage, unusual distribution, and the simple fact that so few have survived in collectible condition. That scarcity has made the 1973 no mint mark Lincoln penny highly desirable among collectors. While millions of pennies are produced every year, very few 1973 no-mint mark coins have surfaced in top condition, which drives up their market value. Collectors often reference auction results to gauge the value of a coin like this. Depending on its condition, a 1973 no-mint mark penny could fetch anywhere from a few $100s for a well-preserved coin to several $1,000s if it is in near-perfect, uncirculated condition. One particularly rare example sold for over $5,000 in an auction in the early 2000s, proving that even coins that appear ordinary to the untrained eye can be worth a fortune to someone who understands their story and scarcity. If you think you might have one of these coins, it's important to know how to identify a real 1973 no-mint mark penny. Start by examining the date and the mint mark carefully. The no-mint mark means exactly that. There should be no letter under the date. Look at the details of Lincoln's profile, the lines in his hair, the contours of his face, and the clarity of the lettering. A genuine coin will have consistent and sharp features, while fakes often show signs of casting, uneven edges, or improper fonts. A magnifying glass can help reveal these subtle differences. Consulting a professional coin grader or numismatist is always a safe step if you think you've found something truly special. There are also some surprising details about this coin that make it even more fascinating. Many people don't realize that during the early 1970s, the U.S. Mint was experimenting with coin production to reduce costs. They were exploring different alloys, adjusting striking pressures, and sometimes inadvertently producing coins in unusual batches. The 1973 no-mint mark penny may have been part of one such limited batch. Its rarity is a direct result of these small, almost invisible shifts in the minting process. Collectors love the 1973 no-mint mark penny not just for its potential financial value, but for the story it tells. Holding one is like touching a piece of American history, a connection to the people who used pennies every day in the 1970s, the craftsmen at the mint, and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln himself. Every scratch, every gleam, every detail speaks to a journey that spans decades and reminds us why coins are more than money. They are history in miniature form. Even casual collectors find themselves drawn to this coin. It has a quiet allure, the kind that sparks curiosity and encourages people to dig through old jars of pennies or check loose coins in their drawers. It's a reminder that sometimes the most ordinary objects hold extraordinary potential. A single coin, often overlooked, can tell a story that captures the imagination of anyone who values history, scarcity, and the thrill of discovery. So, the next time you glance at a Lincoln penny from 1973, take a closer look. Could it be a no-mint mark coin? Could it be one of the rare survivors from an unusual production year? That tiny piece of copper might hold more than just value. It could hold a story waiting to be discovered, a whisper from the past, and perhaps even a fortune for the right collector. In the world of coin collecting, the 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln penny remains a quiet legend, a treasure hidden in plain sight, and a reminder that history often comes in the smallest of packages. Every coin has a story, but only a few have the power to make collectors stop, examine, and dream. Could your penny be one of them? The answer might be just under your fingertips, waiting to be revealed. The 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than a coin. It is history, rarity, and mystery all rolled into one. And in the vast world of numismatics, where stories and scarcity meet, this little penny shines brighter than many of its companions. Hold it carefully, study it closely, and remember, sometimes the most unassuming objects hold the greatest surprises. This is the coin that turns a casual glance into a lifetime of curiosity, a simple penny into a story worth thousands. And while the world may pass by, those who recognize its value understand the magic hidden in something as small as a single 1973 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. It reminds us that treasure often lies where we least expect it, and history sometimes comes in the smallest, most overlooked form. So, the next time you open a jar of old coins or sift through a collection, remember the 1973 no mint mark penny, because one day it might just change everything. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of Americans pass by every day without a second thought. Now imagine that this very coin, one that might be sitting quietly in your pocket, your drawer, or a jar on your shelf, could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Today, we're talking about one of the most fascinating and mysterious coins in modern American history, the 1979 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. At first glance, it looks just like any other penny, but look closer and you'll find a story that collectors have chased for decades, a story of rarity, mistakes, and hidden value. The 1979 Lincoln penny is, of course, a 1-cent coin, part of the long-running series featuring the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln has graced American pennies since 1909, and over the decades, small changes in design, metal composition, and mint marks have turned ordinary coins into sought-after treasures. The 1979 penny, produced primarily in Philadelphia and Denver, was meant to be a common, everyday coin. But what makes the no mint mark version special is a curious twist in production that left only a tiny number in existence. To understand this coin, we need to look back to 1979 itself. The United States Mint that year was producing billions of pennies, primarily from copper-plated zinc, as the nation had switched away from mostly copper pennies in 1982. The Lincoln design was the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Coins minted in Philadelphia were supposed to carry no mint mark, while coins from Denver were marked with a small D below the date. However, in rare cases, some coins intended for Denver circulation were struck without a mint mark at the Philadelphia facility, or due to errors in the die preparation, resulting in a penny that carries the 1979 date but no mint mark at all. The 1979 no mint mark Lincoln penny is made primarily of copper, unlike pennies made after 1982 that are mostly zinc with a thin copper coating. This gives it a distinct weight and color compared to later pennies. The obverse features Lincoln's familiar profile, with his hair and beard finely detailed and the date clearly stamped. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial with the words United States of America and E pluribus unum. To the casual eye, it's identical to other 1979 pennies. But for collectors, the absence of a mint mark where one is expected in certain contexts or the unusual characteristics of certain dies can instantly raise value. So why is this penny rare or valuable? The answer lies in its scarcity and the story behind its production. While millions of regular 1979 pennies exist, the no mint mark variation is extremely limited. Coins like these often appear as errors or anomalies in the minting process, making them highly desirable to collectors who chase these unique quirks. In some cases, the coin was struck on a planchet intended for a different year, or the mint mark simply failed to appear due to a worn or damaged die. These tiny mistakes turn an everyday penny into a collectible gem. Real-world examples of the value of this penny show how much collectors prize it. In online auctions and specialized coin shows, 1979, no mint mark pennies in excellent condition have sold for hundreds of dollars, sometimes even higher depending on their grade and provenance. A coin in uncirculated condition with strong luster and no signs of wear can fetch prices that might surprise anyone who assumes pennies are worth nothing beyond their face value. Even coins with minor wear are often snapped up by collectors eager to complete their Lincoln penny sets with rare variations. If you think you might have one of these pennies, how can you identify a real one versus a fake? First, examine the date and the area just below it carefully. A genuine 1979 no mint mark penny intended for Philadelphia will have no D or S beneath the date. Be cautious, though, because some coins have been altered or cleaned to remove a mint mark, which can dramatically reduce their value. Using a magnifying glass or loupe, inspect the surface for natural die characteristics like fine lines, sharp lettering, and consistent wear patterns. Authenticity can often be confirmed by a reputable coin dealer or grading service, which will evaluate the coin's condition and verify that it's a true no mint mark example. There are also fun and surprising details about this coin. For one, it's part of a long lineage of Lincoln pennies, which have been produced for over a century and have a devoted following among collectors of all ages. The no mint mark variety is a tiny window into the workings of the United States Mint, revealing that even a government producing millions of coins each year can still create anomalies that become treasures decades later. Some collectors have even traced the history of individual coins, documenting their journey from pocket change to prized collectible. Collectors love this coin not just for its rarity, but for the story it tells. Holding a 1979 no mint mark penny is like holding a piece of history, a small object that represents both the everyday and the extraordinary. It connects you to the past, to the people who use these coins in daily life, and to the experts and enthusiasts who recognize that a missing mint mark can transform a simple penny into a coveted collector's item. Its appeal lies in its combination of history, scarcity, and the thrill of discovery. Today, the 1979 no mint mark Lincoln penny continues to captivate collectors and casual coin enthusiasts alike. It's a reminder that even the most ordinary items around us can hold hidden stories and surprising value. For those who come across this coin, it represents not just potential financial worth, but a tangible connection to history and a little mystery waiting to be uncovered. So next time you find yourself sifting through change or looking at a jar of pennies, take a moment to examine each coin closely. One of those coins could be more than just metal and copper. It could be a rare 1979 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, quietly waiting to tell its story. And as you hold it in your hand, think about the thousands of other pennies that never made it into collector hands, and realize that sometimes the extraordinary hides in the most ordinary places. The 1979 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a small coin with a big story. It's a reminder that history can be hidden in plain sight, that rarity can turn something ordinary into something remarkable, and that curiosity is often the key to discovering treasures in the most unexpected places. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who simply enjoys the thrill of uncovering hidden value, this penny continues to capture imaginations and inspire wonder. And who knows, your next coin could be the one that surprises you, the one that turns a simple moment of curiosity into a connection with history and maybe even a stroke of luck that lasts a lifetime. History, rarity, mystery, and the quiet thrill of discovery. These are the elements that make the 1979 no mint mark Lincoln penny a coin worth paying attention to. It's not just about money or investment. It's about being part of a story that has fascinated collectors for decades. And as more people become aware of the hidden potential in everyday coins, the allure of this penny only grows stronger. So take another look at those coins in your pocket, your jar, or your collection. One of them might just be a 1979 Lincoln penny, and if it's the no mint mark variety, it could be a key to a small but remarkable piece of American numismatic history. Even decades after it was first minted, this coin continues to remind us that sometimes the most valuable discoveries are the ones we least expect. A penny you might have overlooked could be the bridge between ordinary change and extraordinary rarity. And in the world of coin collecting, that bridge is always worth crossing. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks ordinary at first glance, yet carries a story few people know. A coin that could quietly be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Today, we're uncovering the mystery behind one such coin, the 1985 D mint mark Lincoln penny. This small, copper-plated piece of metal might seem like just spare change, but for collectors and coin enthusiasts, it holds a special place in American numismatic history. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this coin has captured the attention of collectors across the country, and how a single penny from your own pocket could be more valuable than you ever imagined. The 1985 D. Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series of pennies featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or front side, of the coin. Lincoln has been on the penny since 1909, commemorating the centennial of his birth. The D mint mark tells us that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the main facilities in the United States responsible for producing coins for everyday circulation. While the penny itself is familiar to most Americans, the 1985 D holds some subtleties that make it interesting for collectors. To understand the significance of this coin, it helps to look back at the era in which it was produced. The mid-1980s were a time of economic change in the United States. Inflation had affected the value of the penny, and copper prices were fluctuating. The mint had been adjusting the metal composition of pennies over the years to keep production costs manageable. The 1985 D. Lincoln penny is made primarily of copper, but with a small amount of zinc mixed in. This combination gives it the familiar reddish-brown color that many people associate with older pennies. Unlike the steel pennies of 1943 or the 2009 zinc-rich pennies, the 1985 D retains the traditional copper appearance. Visually, the coin is familiar. On the front, Abraham Lincoln's profile is centered, gazing solemnly into the distance. His lines are sharp, his features well-defined, and the word liberty is etched along the left side. The year 1985 is stamped clearly, and just to the right, the small letter D marks the Denver Mint. Turn the coin over and you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparro in 1959, commemorating Lincoln's 150th birthday. On either side of the memorial, the words United States of America and 1 cent encircle the design. What makes certain 1985 D pennies special are subtle variations or errors that can appear during the minting process. Some coins may show doubling on the date, weak strikes, or die cracks, all of which increase interest among collectors. So, what makes the 1985 D penny rare or valuable? The truth is, most 1985 D pennies in circulation are fairly common. Millions were minted, so for everyday use, they aren't worth much more than a cent. However, rarity comes into play when you consider coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, or those that have notable mint errors. Coins that were accidentally struck off-center, those with die cracks, or coins showing doubled dies can attract a premium from collectors. Even minor anomalies can turn an ordinary coin into a sought-after collectible, sometimes fetching hundreds of dollars at auction. Speaking of auctions, there are documented cases where 1985 D pennies have sold for significant amounts, far beyond their face value. For example, an uncirculated 1985 D penny graded as M-65, meaning it is in exceptional condition with virtually no wear, has sold for over $100 at online coin marketplaces. Coins with more unusual errors, like doubled dies or repunched mint marks, can fetch even more, sometimes approaching or exceeding several $100s. These prices illustrate just how much condition and uniqueness can affect a coin's value, even for a piece that millions were originally produced. For those curious about identifying a real 1985 D penny versus a fake or altered coin, there are a few key points to check. First, the weight should be consistent with standard copper pennies of the era, approximately 3.11 grams. Authentic coins will have clear and consistent lettering, and the mint mark should be sharp and properly aligned. Doubling or die cracks are natural errors from the minting process, not signs of counterfeiting, but suspiciously perfect or misaligned features might indicate tampering. Using a magnifying glass or a loupe, collectors can closely examine the date, mint mark, and edges to confirm authenticity. If ever in doubt, professional grading services can provide certification, which not only guarantees authenticity but often increases market value. There are also some fun and surprising facts about the 1985 D. Lincoln penny that many people don't know. For instance, the design of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side is so detailed that if you look closely, you can see a tiny statue of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial. This hidden detail has delighted coin enthusiasts for decades. Additionally, while most pennies are collected for their value or rarity, some collectors simply appreciate the story each coin tells. The 1985 D penny represents a time capsule of American history, reflecting the culture, economy, and craftsmanship of the mid-1980s. Collectors love the 1985 D penny not only for its potential monetary value, but also for the sense of connection it provides to American history. Coins are tangible pieces of the past, and holding a penny minted over 35 years ago can evoke nostalgia and curiosity. For numismatists, the thrill of spotting a rare error, identifying a mint mark variation, or finding an uncirculated example in a roll of coins is unmatched. Even everyday Americans can feel a sense of discovery when they realize that something as ordinary as a penny could be part of a collection worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. In conclusion, the 1985 D. Lincoln penny is more than just a small copper coin. It's a piece of history, a collectible treasure, and a reminder that value can be hidden in the most ordinary places. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just sifting through a jar of coins on your countertop, this penny offers a glimpse into the fascinating world of numismatics. So next time you hold a seemingly ordinary penny, take a closer look. You never know when a small coin could hold a story waiting to be discovered. What other surprises might be hiding in your change, quietly waiting for someone curious enough to notice? This coin story is far from over. The 1985 D. Lincoln penny reminds us that even the smallest objects can carry history, rarity, and mystery, and that sometimes the real treasure is simply the thrill of discovery. Keep your eyes open and your hands ready. You never know which penny could change the way you see ordinary money forever. Imagine holding a penny in your hand, a coin so ordinary that millions pass through your fingers every year. But what if I told you that among those countless pennies, there's a 1995 Lincoln cent with no mint mark that can make collectors sit up and take notice? A coin that at first glance looks like any other, yet hides a story and a rarity that might surprise you. Today, we're diving into the world of the 1995 no mint mark Lincoln penny, exploring its history, its quirks, and why some of these small pieces of copper and zinc have captured the attention of collectors across the country. The 1995 Lincoln penny is part of a long line of Lincoln cents that have been produced since 1909. This particular penny shows the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the front, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that has endured for over a century. On the reverse, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was first introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The 1995 penny continues this tradition, striking the balance between everyday utility and historical symbolism. Now, you might wonder, what makes the 1995 penny with no mint mark different from the millions of other pennies produced that year? First, a quick note on mint marks. Most pennies carry a small letter indicating where they were minted. A D tells you it was made in Denver, an S in San Francisco, and if there is no mint mark, it was produced in Philadelphia. Normally, a Philadelphia coin from this era is not considered rare, but certain factors can make some of these coins unusual and collectible. The story of the 1995 penny begins with the production practices of the United States Mint in the mid-1990s. That year, millions of pennies were struck in Philadelphia without any mint mark. They were made primarily for everyday circulation, So most of these coins were destined to sit unnoticed in cash registers, coin jars, or loose change. The metal composition of the 1995 penny is also noteworthy. These coins were made mostly of copper-plated zinc, a standard that started in 1982. Unlike older pennies that were nearly solid copper, these newer coins have a zinc core, which means they are lighter and have a slightly different feel when held. What sets certain 1995 no-mint mark pennies apart are specific variations and errors. Coins from this era can display minor striking anomalies, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual die scratches. These are not common in everyday circulation, and they immediately catch the eye of collectors. For example, a penny where the lettering or Lincoln's profile appears slightly doubled or misaligned can be worth significantly more than a regular coin. Even subtle differences in the luster or color of the copper plating can make a coin stand out. These imperfections are part of what turns a common penny into a collectible item. Collectors are also drawn to the 1995 no-mint mark penny because of its scarcity in top condition. While millions were produced, very few survived the wear and tear of circulation without scratches, nicks, or discoloration. Coins that remain pristine, with sharp details and bright, unblemished surfaces, are much harder to find. In the coin world, condition is everything, and a flawless 1995 Philadelphia penny can command surprising interest. Real auction examples highlight the potential value. While most 1995 pennies without mint marks might be worth only a few cents in everyday conditions, a high-grade specimen with a notable error can fetch tens or even hundreds of dollars. In 2020, one such 1995 no-mint mark penny with a slight doubling on the date and letters sold for nearly $150 in an online auction. Another example, a coin graded in mint state condition by a professional grading service, attracted bids that exceeded $200. These numbers are modest compared to the rarest coins in history, but for a coin that was once meant to be pocket change, they are remarkable. Identifying a genuine 1995 no-mint mark penny is straightforward if you know what to look for. Start by examining the absence of a mint mark beneath the year on the obverse side of the coin. Then check the metal composition. Real coins from this period will be copper-plated zinc and should have a distinct weight and feel compared to older, solid copper pennies. Look closely at the details of Lincoln's portrait and the inscriptions on both sides. Sharp, well-defined edges on the lettering and the Lincoln Memorial are indicators of an authentic coin, particularly if you are evaluating one that might have collectible value. Avoid coins that appear unusually shiny or have markings inconsistent with standard circulation, as these could be cleaned, altered, or counterfeit. There are some fun facts about the 1995 penny that make it even more intriguing. For instance, this coin was produced during a transitional time for the U.S. Mint. The early to mid-1990s saw the introduction of modern minting technologies, including new die materials and stricter quality controls. Yet despite these improvements, some errors still slip through the process, giving today's collectors a reason to hunt for them. Another interesting detail is that, although most coins are simply pocket change, pennies have historically been used in unique ways, from art projects to good luck charms. Holding a 1995 no-mint mark penny connects you to a tangible piece of daily American history. Collectors love the 1995 no-mint mark penny not just for its rarity or potential value, but also for its story. Every coin tells a tale of the mint, of the era it was produced, and of the people who handled it. There is a quiet thrill in spotting a coin that is slightly different, that carries a subtle mark of distinction among millions of others. For hobbyists, the hunt itself can be as rewarding as the discovery. And for those who stumble upon a coin in top condition or with a unique error, the satisfaction is even greater. It's a reminder that treasures can sometimes hide in plain sight, in the coins we handle every day without thinking twice. As we consider the 1995 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, it becomes clear that even the most ordinary-looking coin can hold extraordinary potential. From its copper-plated zinc composition to its iconic Lincoln design, to the rare errors and top-grade examples that excite collectors, this penny is more than just currency. It is a piece of history. So next time you reach into your pocket or sort through a jar of change, take a closer look. Among the pennies, there may be one that carries a story you never expected, a coin that connects you to a wider world of history, collectors, and hidden value. Could the next 1995 no-mint mark penny you find be one of those rare treasures? It's a small coin, but it holds a big story, and maybe, just maybe, it's waiting for someone to discover it. The 1995 no-mint mark Lincoln penny reminds us that history and rarity are often hiding in plain sight. It's a coin that invites curiosity, rewards careful observation, and connects everyday life to the broader story of American currency. Even the simplest coin can surprise you, and in the world of collecting, that surprise is part of the thrill. Keep an eye on your pennies. The ordinary may just be extraordinary. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks ordinary at first glance, a coin you might have spent in a vending machine or dropped into a parking meter, and realizing it could be worth far more than its face value. That's exactly the story of the 1996 D-Mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that has quietly captured the attention of collectors across the United States. On the surface, it's just a penny, but for those who know the details, it's a fascinating piece of history, a small metal window into the past, and in some cases, a valuable collector's item. Today, we're diving deep into the story behind this 1996 D Lincoln penny, uncovering what makes it unique, why collectors seek it, and how you might recognize one in your own collection. The 1996 D Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series, a line of coins first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. This coin series is among the most iconic in American history, and while the design has seen subtle changes over the decades, the essential character has remained the same. Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front, or obverse, and a design on the back, or reverse, that has evolved from wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial, and eventually to the shield in modern pennies. The D on this 1996 penny indicates that it was minted in Denver, one of the two primary U.S. mints producing pennies at the time, the other being Philadelphia. The year 1996 was part of a period of consistency for the Lincoln Cent, but also a time when collectors began paying closer attention to subtle errors and variations in minting. The 1996 D penny was struck in a copper-plated zinc composition, a material change that had been fully implemented in 1982. This means that unlike older pennies made primarily of copper, this coin has a core of zinc with a thin copper layer. This change was primarily economic, making pennies cheaper to produce, but it also introduced some interesting characteristics for collectors. The coin weighs 2.5 grams and measures 19.05 millimeters across, making it identical in size and shape to other modern pennies. Yet its history and potential quirks give it a story all its own. One of the most interesting aspects of the 1996 D penny is its design. The obverse features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design originally created by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse, at that time, displayed the Lincoln Memorial, a familiar and beloved national symbol. What sets certain 1996 D pennies apart are subtle variations, such as doubled dies, weak strikes, or planchet errors. Doubled dies occur when the coin's design is imprinted more than once during production, creating a slight shadow effect around letters or numbers. Though not every 1996 D penny has this feature, Coins that do are highly sought after by collectors. Weak strikes, where the coin's details are less defined due to insufficient pressure during minting, can also make certain coins stand out. So what makes the 1996 D penny valuable? For most coins from this year, the face value of 1 cent is all you get. However, certain errors or high-quality specimens, especially those that are uncirculated and maintain full mint luster, can fetch much higher prices among collectors. The value of a 1996 D penny can range from a few cents for circulated coins to several dollars for coins in pristine condition. Coins with rare errors, like significant die doubling or unique minting flaws, have been known to sell for hundreds of dollars at auction. While this may not sound like the millions some rare pennies can reach, it is significant for a coin that originally cost just 1 cent. Let's look at some real-world examples. In recent years, online auctions and numismatic sales have documented 1996 D pennies, with noticeable die doubling selling for over $100 each. Uncirculated coins graded at MS65, which indicates a very high level of preservation, can sell for $15 to $30. More dramatic errors or varieties, such as a double die obverse or reverse, can drive prices much higher, creating excitement among both seasoned and casual collectors. These sales demonstrate the importance of condition and rarity when determining a coin's value, and why even pennies from a relatively recent year can become collectible. For anyone who thinks they might have a valuable 1996 D penny in their pocket, identification is key. First, examine the coin under good lighting and a magnifying lens. Look for crisp details in Lincoln's hair, beard, and the lettering on the coin. Check the reverse for the Lincoln Memorial, ensuring the columns and details are well defined. If you suspect a doubled die, look carefully at the date and lettering. Doubling is usually subtle, appearing as a shadow or slight shift in the design. It's also important to weigh and measure the coin, ensuring it matches the standard specifications of 2.5 grams and 19.05 millimeters. Authenticity can often be verified by a professional grading service, which can confirm both the coin's condition and any unique features that affect its value. There are some fun facts about the 1996 D penny that collectors love. For example, this coin is part of the last generation of Lincoln Memorial pennies, before the introduction of the shield reverse in 2010. It's also one of the coins minted entirely from the copper-plated zinc composition, which can sometimes cause color variations over time, giving each coin a slightly different hue depending on how it was stored. Coins that have retained their original luster and show little to no wear are particularly appealing to collectors, making even small differences in storage conditions meaningful over the decades. Collectors are drawn to this penny for several reasons beyond monetary value. It represents a piece of American history, a connection to the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln, and a reminder of the changing materials and minting techniques used by the United States Mint. It is accessible too. Unlike rare coins from the 1800s or early 1900s, many people may find a 1996 D penny in circulation, in a drawer, or among coins passed down from family members. This sense of discovery, combined with the thrill of potentially uncovering a valuable error, makes collecting coins like this both educational and exciting. Even beyond its tangible characteristics, the 1996 D penny tells a story of the American economy, technological shifts in minting, and the subtle ways in which collectors can engage with history. It's a coin that rewards careful observation, patience, and curiosity. Whether you are a long-time collector or someone who has just noticed a strange shadow in the lettering on a loose coin, this penny invites you to look closer, ask questions, and explore the details that turn ordinary objects into treasures. As we conclude, consider this. The next time you reach for a penny at a store, you might be holding something that seems ordinary but could hide an intriguing story, a rare flaw, or even a collectible gem waiting to be discovered. The 1996 D Lincoln penny reminds us that value isn't always obvious at first glance, and sometimes the smallest items can hold the biggest surprises. Keep your eyes open, examine the details, and you just might find a coin that tells more than just the time. It tells a story worth exploring. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone casually curious about coins, the 1996 D penny offers a perfect blend of history, design, and collectible intrigue. From its humble copper-plated zinc composition to the subtle minting variations that spark excitement, this coin stands as a reminder that even the smallest pieces of metal can capture the imagination. And who knows, among the loose change in your pocket or jar, there could be a 1996 D Lincoln penny ready to surprise you.